Okay, welcome to the Creative Literal Sides Show today with Dean Val from Nations United University and co-host Mr. Bob from Wisconsin, the man of many talents and skills and knowledge. Are you there, Bob?
I am here. Thank you for a great introduction. I don't know if I'm that highly talented, but I'm here.
Excellent. And how's the weather over there in Wisconsin today?
Oh, it's pretty sunny except for the chemtrails.
It's cloudy.
Yeah, we got those too. Pretty much day and night. Some days we get off. We get a relief, but some days it's pretty bad here too in Huntington Beach, where we're broadcasting from. So today it's a little bit rainy here. Actually, Jean, who we're going to interview today, she's up north of us. She's getting a downpour right now, and we're expecting rain where we are in a minute too. So welcome everybody to the show. On this show, we take what's literal and bring it around to where people have an opportunity to see more and become more aware. After all, there is more than one dimension, and that's as proven by the Twilight Zone series, if you've ever seen that. So we've been, we can begin by supporting the all-natural environment that makes sense because it supports all of us. And our nonprofit, the New Presentation Foundation, promotes and supports individuals and organizations all over the world that actually are doing something to benefit the environment, not just talk about it, but actually doing something. So individuals such as Felix Finkbeiner, he was a German youth that about 10 years ago or so, he started his own nonprofit, Plant for the Planet. And he has planted more than 14 billion trees in more than 130 nations. And then there's the Great Green Wall Project in the Sahara. They're trying to back off the Sahara Desert, which is expanding. And then they're planting 4,000 miles full of trees. That's a little bit been stalled, but that's the kind of idea that we support. And today, here locally, in Huntington Beach, California, we have with us an individual who has helped plant over 7,000 trees here in the city, and she's probably thinking about planting, could be a million more, who knows. She's had a good start here. And,
I'm too old for that.
Well, hopefully, like you said, there's people after you that will take up the torch.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So her name here is Jean Nagy, and she's the founder and president of the Huntington Beach Tree Society, a 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to the beautification of the local community by caring and protecting the California native trees and plants. And I met Jean at a local council meeting here where she's been a regular visitor there to the council meetings, and she shares and garners support for her projects. And one of our projects is going around to the 34 cities here in Orange County and proposing fruit tree plantings throughout the cities. So we have something in common here, and I invited her on the show to talk about her projects. And so how are you doing, Jean?
Fine, thank you very much.
Yeah, can you talk about how you got started with all this? 7,000 trees, that's quite a bit, and I guess over 25 years or so?
It's getting close to that, a couple of years short of that. A while back, like 20-something years ago, my husband got transferred. We were living up towards San Francisco, and he got transferred back down to this area. so when we moved in, I just felt Huntington Beach was truly in need of trees, some more greenery, some more green. And so I would kind of go to the council people, and I got on the environmental board of the city, and then I would say to the council people, let's plant some more trees. And the one councilman says, well, why don't you do something? So anyway, I said, okay, I'll start a tree society. So he kind of helped me, and we got started. And then I went to the city, and there's about 66 pocket parks. They're called little pocket parks. They're like an acre plus in each neighborhood. And I got the original plans, landscape plans for each park slowly, and wrote grants. And first of all, I figured out which trees were missing out of each park. And then I wrote grants for the state of California and got the money to replace the trees. And the city was very nice to partnership with me. So on the weekends, the city would send out a crew, and I'd get the high school kids, and then I'd have the money for the trees, and we replanted most of the parks again. That's how it got started. And then the city gave me this, I don't know, about 4 or 5 acres of vacant land, and then I started my urban forest. And I've been working on that ever since. So that's where I'm at.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Is this near Shipley or Nature Center, or where is this 2 acres?
The urban forest is on the Central Park in Huntington Beach is about 350 acres, and it's divided by the street called Golden West divides it. So there's the east side and the west side of Central Park, and my urban forest is on the west side of Central Park. It's behind the Equestrian Center, and it was just this huge area of vacant land just sitting there forever. And city started me going, and we've been going ever since. And now we're making a trail from the Shipley Nature Center that will go to the ocean, and it's called Shipley to Shore. And this trail, when completed, would be about I'd say about 6 miles one way. And the part that I'm working on right now, trying to raise money for trees and plants on this trail, is located in the west side of Central Park. So that's what I'm focusing most of my attention on, is this trail, Shipley to Shore.
Yeah, I'm from Northern California. We have a nice little trail from the Coast Range to the Pacific Ocean. I think it's about 12 miles. I hiked that once. It took me, the day, but it's a nice trail through the redwoods, and lots of native plants. The bays and laurels and madrones and stuff. Very, very nice. So does this trail also go through? Is it just pretty much cleared, or does it have trees? Or are you planting trees?
Well, the part that starts at the Shipley Nature Center and goes through the old section of Central Park is very tree-lined. Then the trail goes from the old section of Central Park up through this huge, I don't know how many acres this is, that was vacant land that I've been replanting since '01. So I've been working on it for about 15 years now. So that is the area that I am working on, getting money to plant more trees and native plants. And then the trail goes into the county section, and that has pretty much, it's pretty green, but it needs a few more trees. And then it goes into a regional park, through a regional park, the Harriet Regional Park, and then it hits the ocean. So it's mainly, since it's so close to the ocean, it's called California scrub, coastal sage scrub. So there's not tons of trees because Harriet Weeder wants to keep their park more natural of what actually would have grown here way back when. But
and the trees that you do have, what are they? Are they pretty much native to the area? like the oaks and.
I try to stick to mostly native trees. A lot of coast live oaks, because I am so afraid that we are going to go back into the desert. And there's Tecate cypress, a lot of these trees that really are hardy and can stand the drought. So I'm trying to think ahead, because if we don't get rain again like this and it goes back to our drought, I want these trees to make it. So every tree I put in along the trail, I'm trying to make sure that it's extremely hardy and California native. Yeah.
Well, part of what we do is to educate people, and one of the things we mention is the primary water sources that is available. If people would only encourage their governments and others to facilitate the it's underground water, basically, artesian wells, and it's underground, and there's plenty of water underneath, no matter what the government has been telling us. The source for this water is the hydrogen and the oxygen combining and then coming up as condensation and creating rain and snow and what we call secondary water up above. But there's plenty of water. It's just getting people to understand that and agree to getting it out. So, but
well, here in Huntington Beach, I don't think most people know that, but we do drink toilet water. It's toilet to tap, it's called. And the water purification plant in Fountain Valley, it's only Huntington Beach and Fountain Valley, and then they clean the water, and it's so purified and clean that you can go over to the plant and drink the water straight from where the cleaning area is. But they reinsert that water back into the aquifers here in Huntington Beach. So yes, there is plenty of water, but it's only mainly because of that purification plant in Fountain Valley. There's loads of water here that they reinsert back into the aquifers, and then the water district pulls it back out of the aquifers, and does whatever they have to do before they put it back into the pipes. But some of the other cities don't clean their water like we do. They don't drink toilet to tap, and so that's a big problem.
Right. Bob, you can come in anytime you like if you have anything to share, too.
Well, I was just going to say, Gene, you talk about the drought out there. Did you know that drought is not a natural drought? Are you aware of that at all?
I don't understand your question.
All right. Well, you talked about, you're worried about going back into desert conditions and the drought happening in California, and it's drying out and becoming a desert. Well, one of the things that Val was mentioning is we educate the public of what's going on, and one of the things we educate people on is the fact that these droughts are caused by governments actually engineering the weather, and that they're the ones that intentionally caused the droughts. They've been causing the drought in California ever since day one, like 30 or 40 years ago. That's all done by the government. And if we would educate people to tell the government to quit using their high-tech HARP systems and whatever they use, the chemtrails and all that, we could have natural rainfall, and then California would be restored to its native pristine state, just like it was hundreds of years ago.
Well, I think along the coast, there were really no, like super big trees because of the water. It didn't really rain like in Northern California does, but I really am focusing on plants and trees, and I don't get involved with why we shouldn't or should not do certain things, even though I know certain things, because once I get everybody upset with me, then I can't do what I really want to accomplish, because I want to get my trail accomplished. And I'm working on city land, and if they get upset with me because I come storming in, then I am not going to accomplish what I want to accomplish.
we get that.
I stay out of the politics. Yes.
That's why it's so interesting interviewing you, because you're actually doing this. It's like Felix. He has this poster up. It's got a hand on top in front of a politician's mouth. It says, "Stop talking and start planting." And,
correct.
And this is what's going.
If you get everybody upset, then you can't really keep rocking and rolling. So that's why I like to stay out of the politics of it too much. And then I got to get the grants from the state of California too.
Right. Yeah. There's a line here. You have to
manage. That's
the
way to put it. There is a line. Yes. Yes.
So
yes.
And
I'm working all on city property, so I could be asked to leave at any time.
So how was the grant writing? Was that you, or did you have help with that?
Yeah,
and
I taught myself how to do it. California Relief is a state organization that helps grassroots small groups like mine to get small grants, like $5,000-$10,000 grants, not the big ones. So by joining California Relief, it's easy to write the grants because they're very helpful, and they make them not as difficult when you start writing the $25,000, $30,000 grants. So I thank California Relief, that organization, for helping me.
And I just saw that you got a $2,000 grant from a realtor organization. Is that recent?
Yes.
Or is that an old news item?
No, they just gave that. That was last fall. And Boeing usually gives us money. We put out a newsletter every year. They give us, citizens give us money. People donate money to me all the time. I'm not having too much trouble right now getting money. Sometimes I have too much trouble. I have trouble with sometimes too many volunteers coming at once because, you can only handle so many at a time. And everybody wants to do something. But I would like to say to you guys about tree planting, when people brag about how many trees they put in the ground, to me, it isn't the number of trees that you plant. It's the number of trees that you take care of. Because anybody can plant a tree, and all these people come to me, oh, I want to plant a tree, and then do you ever see them again after they plant a tree? No. So I work with a lot of Eagle Scouts and high school kids, and I tell them it doesn't do you any good to put a tree in the ground unless you are going to take care of it for about the first 2 years. And that means watering it, restaking it when it falls over, trimming it, all those things. And so I always question all these people when they go, well, unless you got a team following behind you and taking care of these trees, it's just not right. It's a lot of work to take care of trees, to make them get to fruition.
Yeah, that was one of the problems with this green wall in the Sahara. At least 80% of the trees died, after the first year because of what you're talking about. So
exactly.
There are solutions. I don't know if you're familiar with the Groasis water box or similar.
No. Oh, yes, but somebody still has to take care of that. It's like somebody has to be connected to the tree, whether it's a group or a person or what. But you just can't walk away. Unless we're maybe in Hawaii, where it's so tropical, or in the tropics. You can plant something and walk away. But here, no. Not here. Not in Southern California, anyway.
So I noticed that's what you're trying to do, is match a person with each tree that you plant, or a student or child? Is that
we
the idea?
Groups that usually come up every Saturday, and we work, and I have all these volunteers that whatever we put in the ground, we make sure it is being cared for. And we're just not, running to the next project, which a lot of people like to do. And then all of a sudden you see in cities that you'll see these street trees that are just sad because nobody's really taking care of them. And it was worse, these before it started raining here in Southern California, the last 2 years, it was a disaster. The beetles were coming in because these trees weren't getting watered, and all this infestation came, and it was because the trees were just dying of thirst, and nobody was out there giving them, like, people in front of their house wouldn't even put their hose out on those parkway trees, just soak them. It's hard to get people to do stuff as far as really paying attention to get, to care for the trees.